close to you are. Thank you for coming to support Wichita Shakespeare Company's production of Richard III. We're very excited to see you here. This is our first weekend. We have two more weekends after this if you would like to catch us somewhere else as well. If you were not able to get a program, there are programs right here on this table. We are a nonprofit 5013C program, and we are run completely off of donations. So if you enjoy the show and would like to see us continue, please feel free to give us donations there in Shakespeare's Nose. We really do appreciate you coming out into the heat to watch us this evening. Please enjoy the show. Thank you.
Now's the winter of our discontent, made glorious summer by this son of York, and all the clouds that lowered upon this house in the deep bosom of the ocean buried. Now are our brows bound with victorious reefs, our bruised arms held up for monuments. And now, instead of mounting barbed steeds to frighten souls of fearful adversaries, he capers nimbly in a lady's chamber to the lascivious pleasing of a lute. But I, that am not shaped for sportive tricks, deformed, unfinished, sent before my time in a breathing world scarce am made up, and so lamely and unfashionable that dogs bark at me as I halt by. Why I, in this piping time of peace, have no delight to pass away the time except to see my shadow in the sun and descant to my own deformity. Therefore, since I cannot prove a lover, I'm determined to prove a villain, and hate the idle pleasing of these days. Plots have I laid, dangerous, drunken prophecies, libels, and dreams, to set my brother Clarence and the king in a deadly hate, the one against the other, and to King Edward be as true and just as I am subtle, false, and treacherous. On this day, should Clarence be mute up about a prophecy which says that G of Edward heirs the murderer shall be. Dive thoughts deep in my soul. Here Clarence comes. Good day, brother. What means this armed guard that waits upon your grace?
His Majesty, tendering my person's safety, hath appointed this conduct to convey me to the Tower.
Upon what cause?
Because my name is George.
Alack, my lord, that is no fault of yours.
He hearkens after prophecies and dreams and says that a wizard told him that by G his issue disinherited should be. And for my name of George begins with G, it falls in his thoughts that I am he. These as I learn, and such like toys as these, have moved his highness to commit me now.
This is it. When men are ruled by women, 'tis not the king that sends you to the Tower, Our Lady Grey. Clarence, it's 'tis she that sends you to send him to this harsh extremity. We are not safe, Clarence. We are not safe.
My heavens, I think there's no man secure but the Queen's kindred, and the night-walking heralds that judge betwixt the king and Mistress Shore. Heard you not what a humble suppliant Lord Hastings was for her delivery?
My lords, I beseech you, the king has straightly given me charge that no man, of what degree soever, shall have conference with your brother.
We know thy charge, Brackenbury, and will obey.
Brother, farewell. I will on to the king. Meantime, have patience.
I must perforce. Farewell.
Simple, plain Clarence, how do I love thee, that I will shortly send his soul up to heaven. But who comes here, the newly delivered Hastings?
A good time of day unto my gracious lord.
How hath your lordship brooked imprisonment?
With patience, noble lord, as prisoners must. But I shall live, my lord, to give them thanks which were the cause of my imprisonment.
What news?
The king is sickly, weak, and melancholy.
Where is he? In his bed?
He is.
Go you on. I will follow. He cannot sleep, I hope, and must not die. To George be packed with post-horse up to heaven. I want to urge this hatred more to Clarence, with lies steeled with weighty arguments. And if I fail not in my deep intent, Clarence have not another day to live. Which done, having God take King Edward to his mercy, and leave the world for me to bustle in. For then, I'll marry Warwick's youngest daughter. What? That I did kill her husband? And his father? Clarence still breathes. Edward still lives and reigns. When they are gone, then I must count my gains.
Sit down, your honorable load. Whilst I, a while obsequiously lament the untimely fall of virtuous Lancaster. Poor key cold figure of a holy king. Pale ashes of the house of Lancaster. Thou bloodless remnant of that royal blood, be it lawful that I invocate thy ghost to hear the lamentations of poor Anne. Wife to thy Edward, to thy slaughtered son. Stabbed by the selfsame hand that made these wounds, cursed be the hand that made these holes. Cursed the heart that had the heart to do it. Cursed the blood that let this blood from henceforth direful hap betide that hated wretch that makes us wretched by him than I can wish. To wolves, to spiders, toads, or any creeping venom thing that lives. If ever he have child, abortive be it. If ever he have wife, let her be made more miserable by the death of him than thou hast made me by my young lord and thee. Come now towards Chertsey with your holy load.
Stay you that bear the course and set it down.
What black magician conjures up this being to stop devoted charitable deeds?
Villain, set down the course, or by St. Paul, I'll make a course of him that disobeys.
What, do you tremble? Are you all afraid? Alas, I blame you not, for you are mortal. Immortal eyes cannot endure the devil. Avaunt, thou dreadful minister of hell. Thou hast but power over his mortal body, his soul thou canst not have. Therefore be gone.
Sweet saint, for charity be not so cursed.
Thou devil, for God's sake, hence and trouble us not, for thou hast made the happy earth thy hell. If thy delight to view thy heinous deeds, behold this pattern of thy butcheries.
Lady, you know no rules of charity which renders good for evil, blessings for curses.
Villain, thou knowest no law of God nor man, no beast so fierce, but no some touch of pity.
But I know none, and therefore am no beast.
Wonderful, when devils tell the truth.
More wonderful, when angels are so angry. Vouchsafe divine perfection of a woman, of these supposed crimes to give me leave by circumstance, but to acquit myself.
Vouchsafe diffused infection of man of these known evils, but to give me leave by circumstance to curse thy cursed self.
Fairer than the tongue can name thee. Have some patient leisure but to excuse myself. I did not kill your husband.
Why then he is alive.
Nay, he is dead and slain by Edward's hand.
In thy foul throat thou liest. Queen Margaret saw thy murderous falchion smoking in his blood.
I was provoked by her slanderous tongue.
Thou wast provoked by thy bloody mind, that never dreamst on aught but butcheries. Didst thou not kill this king?
I grant ye.
Doest grant me, hedgehog? Then God grant me too. Thou mayest be damned for this wicked deed. Oh, he was gentle, mild, and virtuous.
The better of the King of Heaven to have him.
He is in heaven, where thou shalt never come.
Then let him thank me that did help to send him thither, for he was fitter for that place than earth.
And thou unfit for any place, but hell.
Yes, one place else, if thou'lt hear me name it.
Some dungeon?
Your bedchamber.
Ill rest betide the chamber where thou liest.
So will it, madam, that I lie with you.
I hope so.
I know so. But gentle Lady Anne, to leave these keen encounter of our wits and fall into something of a slower method. It's not the cause of these timeless deaths, of these Plantagenets. Henry and Edward is blameful as the execution.
Thou wast the cause, and most accursed effect.
Thy beauty was the cause of that effect.
Black night o'ershade thy day, and death thy life.
Curse not, fair creature, thou art both.
I would I were to be revenged on thee.
It is core almost unnatural to be revenged on he that loveth thee.
It is moral, just and reasonable to be revenged on him that killed my husband.
He that bereft the lady of thy husband did it to help thee to better.
His better doth not breathe upon this earth.
He lives to love the better than he.
Where is he?
Here. Why dost thou spit to me?
What a mortal poison for thy sake.
Never came poison from so sweet a place.
Never hung poison on a fouler toad. Out of my sight, thou dost infect mine eyes.
Thine eyes, sweet lady, have infected mine. If thy revengeful heart cannot forgive, lo, I lend thee the sharp-pointed sword, which if thou pleasest, to hide in this true breast, for I lay naked upon its deadly stroke, and humbly beg for death upon my knee. Nay, do not pause, for I did kill King Henry, but it was thy beauty that provoked me. Nay, now dispatch, 'twas I that stabbed young Edward, but it was thy heavenly face that set it on. Take up the sword again, or take up me.
I will not be thy executioner.
To bid me kill myself, and I will do it.
I have already.
That was in thy rage. Speak it again, even this word, this hand, which for thy love did kill thy love, shall for thy love kill apart true love.
I would I knew thy heart.
Disfigured in thy tongue.
I fear me, both are false.
Never man was true.
Well, put up your sword.
The same eyepiece is made.
That shalt thou know hereafter.
Vouchsafe to wear this ring.
To take is not to give.
Look how that ring encompassed thy finger. Even still, thy breast encloses my poor heart. Wear them both, for both of them are thine. Bid me farewell.
'Tis more than you deserve. But since you teach me how to flatter you, imagine I have said farewell already.
Was ever woman in this humor won? Was ever woman in this humor wooed? I'll have her, but will not keep her long. What? That I did kill her husband and his father? To keep her heart in extremest hate, with curses in her mouth, and tears in her eyes. Having God, her conscience, and all the bars against me, and yet to win her. All the world's to nothing. I do mistake my person all this while. Upon my life she finds, although I cannot myself be a marvelous proper man, I'll be in charge for a looking glass, and entertain a score or two of tailors to study fashions to adorn this body. But first, I'll send young fella to his grave, and then return, lamenting to my love. Shine out, fair star, till I bought a glass. Then I may see my shadow as I pass.
Have patience, madam. There's no doubt His Majesty will soon recover his trust and health.
In that you broke it ill, it makes him worse. Therefore, for God's sake, entertain good comfort and cheer his grace with quick and merry eyes.
Oh, if he were dead, what would betide on me?
The heavens have blessed you with a goodly son, to be your comforter when he is gone.
He is young, and his minority is put unto the trust of Richard Gloucester. a man that loves not me nor none of you.
Is it concluded he shall be protector?
It is determined, not concluded yet. Oh, but so it must be if the king miscarry.
Here come the lords of Buckingham and Derby.
Good time of day into your royal grace.
God make your majesty joyful as you have been.
Saw you the king today, my lord of Derby?
But now the Duke of Buckingham and I returned from visiting his majesty.
What likelihood his amendment, lords?
Madam, good cheer. His grace speaks cheerfully.
God grant him health. Did you confer with him?
Aye, madam. He desires to make atonement between the Duke of Gloucester and your brothers, and between them and my Lord Chamberlain, and sent to warn them to his royal presence.
Oh, would all were well, but that will never be.
They've done me wrong, and I will not endure it. Who is it that complains unto the king, that I, forsooth, am stern and love them not?
To whom in all this presence speaks your grace?
To thee that hast no honesty nor grace. When have I done thee injury? When have I done thee wrong? To thee, or thee, or thee, or any of your factions. A plague upon you all. His royal grace, who God preserves better than you would wish, cannot be quite scarce of breathing while. But you must trouble him with lewd complaints.
Oh, come, brother Gloucester. We know your meaning. You envy my advancement and my friends. God grant we never may have need of you.
God grants that I have need of you. Our brother is imprisoned by your means. Myself disgraced. The nobility held in contempt. While daily promotions are given to noble those that scarce of 2 days since were worth a noble.
My lord, you do me shameful injury falsely to draw me in these vile suspects.
Do you deny that you are not the means of Lord Hastings' late imprisonment?
She may, my lord.
She may, Lord Rivers, for who knows not so. She may do more, sir, than denying it. She may offer you many fair preferments than deny your aiding hand therein, leave those honors to your high desert. She may, she not, I marry, may she.
What marry may she?
What marry may she? Why marry a bachelor? And a handsome stripling too. I wish your grandam had a worser match.
My lord of Gloucester, I have too long borne your blunt upbraidings and your bitter scoffs. By heaven, I will acquaint his majesty with those gross taunts that oft I have endured. I had rather be a country servant maid than a great queen with this condition, to be so baited, scorned, and stormed at. Small joy have I in being England's queen.
And lessened be that small. God, I beseech him, thy honor, state, and seat is due to me.
Ere queen, I your husband is king. I was a packed horse in his great affairs. To royalize his blood, I spent my own.
I had much better blood than his, or thine.
And all the while, you and your husband Gray are factions for the house of Lancaster. And Rivers, was not your husband and Margaret's battle of St. Albans slain?
We followed then our lord, our sovereign king. So should we you, if you should be our king.
Oh, if I should be, if I should be, oh, I had rather be a peddler. Far be it from my thought, the heart to thought thereof.
As little joy, my lord, as you suppose you would enjoy were you this country's king, as little joy you may suppose in me that I enjoy being the queen thereof.
I can no longer hold me patient. Hear me, you wrangling pirates that fall out in sharing that which thou hast killed from me. Which of you trembles not to look on me? Ah, gentle villain, do not turn away.
Thou wrinkled witch, how did thou makest in my sight? Was that not banished on pain of death?
I was, but I do find more pain in banishment than death can yield me here in my abode. A husband and a son thou owest me, and thou a kingdom, all of you, allegiance. This sorrow that I have by right is yours, and all the pleasures you usurp are mine.
The curse is my noble father laid on thee, when thou did crown his warlike brow with paper. Denounce against thee, and fall upon all. And God, not we, have played your bloody deed.
So just is God to right the innocent.
Oh, it was the foulest deed to slay that babe, and most merciless that ever was heard of.
Tyrants themselves wept when it was reported.
No man but prophesied revenge for it.
What? Were you snarling all before I came, ready to catch each other by the throat? And turn you all your hatred now on me? Did York's dread curse prevail so much with heaven? Why, then give way, dull clouds, for my quick curses. Though not by war, by surfeit die your king. Edward, thy son, that now is Prince of York, for Edward, our son, that was Prince of York, die in his youth, by like untimely violence. Thyself a queen, for me that was a queen. Long mayst thou live to wail thy children's death. Rivers and Bray, you both were standers by, and so was thou, Lord Hastings, when my son was stabbed with bloody daggers. God, I pray that none of you shall live to see his natural age, but by some unlooked accident, cut off.
Have done thy charm, you foul withered hag.
Oh, and leave out thee. Stay, dog, for thou shalt hear me. The worm of conscience still begnaws thy soul. No sleep, close up that dreadful eye of thine. Thou elvish, marked, abortive, rooting hog, thou slander of thy heavy mother's womb, thou loathed issue of thy father's loins, thou rag of honor, thou detested
Margaret!
Richard!
Ha!
I call thee not.
I cry thee mercy that did call me these bitter names.
Oh, let me make the period to my curse.
Done by me, it ends in Margaret.
Thus have you breathed your curse against yourself.
Poor fated queen, vain flourish of my fortune. The day will come when thou shalt wish for me to help thee curse this poisonous bunchback toad.
Have done, have done.
Buckingham, take heed of yonder dog. Have naught to do with him. Beware of him. Sin, death, and hell have set their marks on him.
What does she say, my Lord of Buckingham?
Nothing that I respect, my gracious lord.
Live each of you as subjects to his hate, and he to yours, and all of you to God's.
My hair doth stand on end to hear her curses.
I cannot blame her, by God's holy mother. She hath had too much wrong, and I repent my part thereof.
Madam, his majesty doth call for you.
Oh, Catesby, I come. Lords, will you go with me?
We wait upon your grace.
Why looks your face so heavily today?
I have passed a miserable night, so full of fearful dreams.
What did your grace dream of? I pray you tell me.
Methought that I had broken from the tower and was embarked across Burgundy. And in my company, my brother Gloucester drew from my cabin, tempted me to walk along the hatches. As we paced along, me thought that Gloucester stumbled and, in falling, struck me when thought to stay him overboard into the tumbling billows of the main. Lord, without me thought what pain it was to drown. We passed thought the melancholy flood unto the kingdom of perpetual night. With that we thought a legion of foul fiends environed me, and howled in my ears such hideous twice that with the very noise I trembling wait and for a season could not believe but that I was in hell. Keeper, I pray thee sit with me a while. My soul is heavy and I can't sleep.
Of course, Your Grace. May God grant you good rest. How comest thou here, fellow? What dost thou here?
I would speak with Clarence, and I come hither on my legs.
Let him see our commission and talk no more.
I will not reason what is meant hereby. There lies the Duke's sleep, and there the keys.
What? Shall we stab him as he sleeps?
No, he'll say 'twas done cowardly when he wakes.
Why, he shall never wake until the great judgment day.
Why, then he'll say we stabbed him sleeping.
The urging of that word judgment hath bred a kind of remorse in me.
What? Art thou afraid? I thought thou hadst been resolute.
So I am. Let him live.
Remember our reward when the deed is done.
Come, he dies. I had forgot the reward.
Pops, he wakes.
Keeper, where art thou? Give me a cup of wine. In God's name, what art thou?
A man, as you are.
Who sent you hither? Wherefore do you come? To murder me?
I.
Wherein, my friends, have I offended you?
What we will do, we do upon command.
That he who hath commanded is our king.
Erroneous vassals! The great King of Kings sat on the table of his law commanded that thou shalt do no murder. Will you then spurn at his edict and fulfill a man's? If you were hired for me, go back again, and I will send you to my brother Gloucester, who shall reward you better for my life than Edward will for tidings of my death.
You are deceived, my lord. Your brother Gloucester hates you.
Oh, do not slander him, for he is kind.
Right, as snow in harvest. Come, you deceive yourself, 'tis he that sends us to destroy you here.
Make peace with God, for you must die, my lord.
Have you that holy feeling in your soul to counsel me to make my peace with God, and yet to your own soul are you so blind that you would war with God by murdering me?
What shall we do?
Relent and save your souls. My friend, I spy some pity in thy looks. Come now on my side.
Look behind you, my lord.
Huh?
Take that! This will not do. I'll drown you in the water match
How vain, my pilot, would I wash my hands of this most grievous murder.
every day expect an embassage from my Redeemer to redeem me hence, and, more to peace, my soul shall part to heaven, as I have made my friends at peace on earth. Hastings and Rivers, take each other's hand. Dissemble not your hatred, swear your love.
By heaven, my soul is purged of grudging hate, and with my hand I seal my true heart's love.
So thrive I, for I truly swear the like.
Madam, yourself is not exempt from this, nor you, son Dorset, Buckingham, nor you. You have been matchless, one against the other. Wife, love Lord Hastings. Let him kiss your hand, and what you do, do it unfeignedly.
There, Hastings. I will never more remember our former hatred. So thrive I and mine.
Dorset, embrace him. Hastings, love Lord Marquette.
This interchange of love I here protest upon my part shall be inviolable.
And so swear I.
Now, princely Buckingham, seal thou this league with thy embracements to my wife's allies, and make me happy in your unity.
Whenever Buckingham doth turn his hate upon your grace, but with all duteous love doth cherish you and yours, God punish you.
There wants now our brother Gloucester here to make the blessed period of this peace.
Good morrow to my most sovereign king and queen.
Make peace with enmity, bear love of hate.
A blessed labor to my most sovereign lord. If I unwillingly or in my rage have I committed that is hardly born to any in his presence, I desire to reconcile me to my friendly peace.
My sovereign lord, I do beseech your highness to take our brother Clarence to your grace.
Madam, have I offered love for this? To be so flouted in his royal presence? Who knows not the gentle duke is dead?
Who knows not he is dead? Who knows he is?
All-seeing heaven, what a world is this?
Is Clarence dead? The order was reversed.
For he, poor man, by a first order slain.
My brother killed no man. His only fault was thought. Yet his punishment was bitter death. Who sued to me for him? Who, in my wrath, kneeled at my feet and bid me be advised? Who spoke of brotherhood? Who spoke of love? God, fear thy justice will take hold on me and you and mine and yours for this. Come, Lord Hastings, help me to my closet. Oh, poor Clarence.
This is the fruit of rashness. Marked you not how the guilty kindred of the queen did look pale when they heard of Clarence's death?
We wait upon your grace.
Who shall hinder me to wail and weep, to chide my fortune and torment myself? Edward, my lord, thy son, our king is dead.
I have bewept our worthy husband's death and looked on his images. But now, 2 mirrors of that princely semblance are cracked to pieces by malignant death.
Madam, bethink you like a careful mother to the young prince your son. Sit straight for him. Let him be crowned. In him your comfort lives.
Sister, have comfort, for we all have cause to wail the dimming of our shining star. But we cannot help our harms by willing them. Madam, my mother, I do cry mercy. I do not see your grace. I crave your blessing.
God bless thee, and put meekness in thy breast, love, charity, obedience, and true duty.
Amen. And let me die a good old man. This is the but end of a mother's blessing. I marvel that her grace did leave it out.
You cloudy princes and heart sorrowing fears, though we have spent our harvest of this king, we now must reap the harvest of his son. Meseemeth good that with some little train, forthwith from Ludlow, the young prince be fed hither to London to be crowned our king.
And so say I.
Madam, you and sister, will you please go?
My lord, whoever journeys to the Thritz, for God's sake, let us not use payment. For, by the way, I'll sort occasion how we shall part the queen's proud kindred from the prince.
Myself, my counsel's consistory. To London, then. We should not be left behind.
Hear you the news abroad?
Oh, yes, that our king is dead.
Then master looks to see a troublous world.
Oh, no, no. By God's good grace, his son shall reign.
Woe to the land that's governed by a child. Full of danger is the Duke of Gloucester, and the queen's sons and brothers hot and proud.
Come, come. We fear the worst. All will be well.
When clouds are seen, wise men put on their cloaks. When the sun sets, who doth look for night? All may be well if God sorted so, 'tis more than we deserve, so I expect.
Last night I heard they lay at Stony Stratford. At Northampton they do rest tonight. Tomorrow or next day they will be here.
I long with all my heart to see the prince. I hope he hath much grown since last I saw him.
But I hear no. They say my son of York has almost overtaken him in his growth.
Aye, mother, but I would not have it so.
Why, good cousin, it is good to grow.
Damn, one night as we did sit at supper, my Uncle Rivers talked how I did grow, more than my brother. I cook my Uncle Gloucester. Small herbs have grace, great weeds to grow apace. Oh, and since me thinks I would not grow so fast, because sweet flowers are slow and weeds make haste.
Oh, good faith, good faith. The saying did not hold in him that did object the same to thee. Oh, he was the wretchedest thing when young, so long a-growing and so leisurely that, if his rule be true, he should be gracious.
And so no doubt he is my gracious madam.
I hope so, and yet let mothers doubt.
Now, by my troth, if I'd been remembered, I could have given my Uncle Grace a flout to touch his growth nearer than he touched mine.
Why, my young York, let me hear it.
Mary, they say my uncle grew so fast that he could not cross to 2 hours old.
Oh, pretty, York. Who told me this?
Grandam, his nurse.
His nurse? Why, she were dead ere thou wast born.
If it were not she, I cannot tell who told me.
Ah, a parlous boy, go to. You are too shrewd.
Good madam, do not be angry with the child.
Pitchers have ears.
Here comes a messenger. What news?
Such news, my lord, as grieves me to report. How doth the prince? Well, madam, and in health.
Of what is thy news?
The Lord Rivers and Lord Grey are set to Pomfret, prisoners.
Who hath committed them?
The mighty dukes, Gloucester and Buckingham.
For what offense?
The sum of all I can I have disclosed. Why or for what the nobles were committed, I know not, my gracious lord.
Oh, I see the ruin of my house. Welcome destruction, blood, and massacre. I see as in a map the end of all.
Accursed and unquiet wrangling days! How many of you have mine eyes beheld? My husband lost his life to get the crown, and often, up and down, my sons are tossed for me to joy and weep their loss and gain.
Come, my boy, we will to sanctuary. Madam, farewell.
Stay, I will go with thee.
You have no cause.
My gracious lady, go, and thither bear your treasure and your goods. For my part, I'll resign unto your grace the seal I keep, and so betide to me, as I will tender unto you and all of yours. Go, I'll conduct you to the sanctuary.
Welcome, sweet prince, to London, to your chamber.
I want more uncles here to welcome me!
My lord, the mayor of London comes to greet you.
God bless your grace with health and happy days.
I thank you, good my lord, and thank you all. I thought my mother and my brother York, long ere this, would have met us on the way. Say, Uncle Gloucester, if our brother come, where shall we sojourn till our coronation?
He shall oppose you to the tower.
I do not like the tower of any place. Did Julius Caesar build that place, my lord?
He did, my gracious lord, begin that place.
Is it upon record, or else reported successively from age to age he built it? Methinks the truth should live from age to age as 'twere retailed to all posterity.
So wise, so young. They say do never live long.
What say you, uncle?
Oh, now in good time, here comes the Duke of York.
Richard of York, how fares our noble brother?
Well, my dear lord, so I must call you now.
How fares our noble cousin, noble Lord of York?
I thank you, gentle uncle. Oh, my lord, you said that idle weeds are fast in growth. The prince, my brother, have outgrown me far.
He hath, my lord.
And therefore is he idle?
Oh, my fair cousin, I must not say so.
Uncle, your grace knows how to bear with him.
You mean to bear me, not bear with me. Uncle, my brother Boxwell, you and me, because I am little like an egg, you should bear me on your shoulders.
My lords, will you please pass along?
What? Will you go into the tower, my lord?
My lord protector needs will have it so.
I shall not sleep in quiet in the tower.
Why? Why should that fear?
Mary, my Uncle Clarence's angry ghost. My granddad said he was murdered there.
I fear no uncles dead.
Nor will they live, I hope.
And if they live, I hope I need not fear. But come, my lord, and with a heavy heart, thinking on them, go I unto the tower.
Come hither, Catesby. What thinkest thou? Is it not an easy matter to make William Lord Hastings of our mind?
He, for his father's sake, so loves the prince that he will not be one to aught against him.
What thinkest thou then of Stanley? How about he?
He will do all in all, as Hastings doth.
Go, gentle Catesby, and as it were far off, sound thou Lord Hastings, how he doth stand affected to our purpose. Commend me to Lord William. Tell him that his ancient knot of dangerous adversaries tomorrow are let blood at Pomfret Castle. And bid my lord, for joy of this good news, give Mistress Shore one gentle kiss the more. Now, my lord, what shall we do if we perceive William Lord Hastings will not yield to our compliance?
Chop off his head, man! Or so much we will do. And look, when I am king, claim thou the earldom of Hereford with all the movables that the king my brother hath possessed.
I'll claim that promise at your grace's hand.
My lord,
Who
Lord, one from Lord Stanley.
Cannot my Lord Stanley sleep these tedious nights?
So it appears. By that I have to say, he dreamt the boar had oft his helm.
Go, fellow, go. Return unto thy lord. Tell him his fears are shallow, without instance. Good morrow, Catesby. You are early stirring. What news? What news in this our tottering state?
It is a reeling world indeed, my lord, and I believe will never stand upright till Richard wear the garland on the ground.
How wear the garland? Dost thou mean the crown?
Aye, my good lord.
I'll have this crown cut off from my shoulders before I see the crown so foul misplaced. To bar my master's heirs in true descent. God knows I will not do it. To the death.
God keep your lordship in that gracious mind.
then curse ye Hastings. Oh, remember God to hear her prayer for them as now for us.
Make haste. The hour of death is expiate.
Now, noble peers, the cause why we are met is to determine of the coronation. In God's name speak, when is the royal day?
Are all things ready for the royal time?
It is and once but nomination.
Oh, tomorrow then I judge a happy day.
Who knows the Lord Protector's mind herein? Who is most inward with the noble Duke?
Your Grace, we think, should soonest know his mind.
We know each other's faces, for our hearts. He knows no more of mine than I of his, or I of yours, my lord, than you of mine. Lord Hastings, you would hear near in love.
I thank his grace. I know he loves me well. In the Duke's behalf, I give my voice.
Oh, and in happy time, here comes the Duke himself.
My noble lords and cousins, all good morrow. I have been long a sleeper. I trust my absence does not neglect no great design, by which my presence might have been concluded.
My lord, had you not come upon your cue, William Lord Hastings would have pronounced your part. I mean your voice in crowning of the king.
Then Lord Hastings, no man might be bolder. Your lordship knows me well and loves me well. My Lord Ely, when I was last in Harford, I saw some good strawberries in your garden there. I do beseech you then for something.
Marry and will, my lord, with all my heart.
Can I take a bucket of a word?
I say, his grace was so cheerfully and smooth this morning. I say there's never a man in Christendom who could lesser hide his love or his hate than he.
I pray you all, tell them what they deserve, that they do conspire my death with devilish plots of damned witchcraft, which prevailed upon my body with their hellish charms.
The tender love I bear your grace makes me most forward in this princely presence. To doom the offenders, whoever they be, I say, my lord, they have deserved death.
And let your eyes be the witness of their evil. Look, how I am bewitched. My arm, behold, is like a blasted sapling withered up. And Edward, his wife, that monstrous witch, consorted with that harlot, strumpet, shore, which by this witchcraft thus I am marked.
If they have done this deed, noble lord.
If, thou protector of that damned strumpet, talkest to me of ifs, thou art a traitor, off with his head, and by St. Paul I will have died till I've seen his day. The rest of you that love me, rise, follow me.
Oh, Margaret! Margaret! Thy heavy curses lighted upon poor Hastings' wretched head.
Come, dispatch. The Duke would be at dinner.
Bloody Richard! Miserable England! Come, bring me to the block. Bear him my head. They smile at me who shall shortly be dead.
Here is the indictment of the good Lord Hastings. 11 hours I have spent to write it over, for yesternight my Catesby wasn't sent me. And yet within these 5 hours Hastings lived, untainted, unexamined, free at liberty. Bad is the world, and all will come to naught, when such ill dealing must be seen and thought.
I buckle fortune on my back to bear her burden, whether I will or no. I must have patience to endure the load. For God doth know, and you shall partly see how far I am from the desire of this.
Then I salute you with this royal title. Long live King Richard, England's worthy king.
Amen.
daughter. Well met.
God give your graces both a happy and a joyful time of day.
Oh, as much to you, good sister. Whither away?
No farther than the tower, and as I guess you will like devotions of yourselves to gratulate the gentle prince.
Oh, kind sister, thanks. We'll enter all together. Oh, and in good time, here the lieutenant comes. Master Lieutenant, pray by your leave, how doth the prince and my young son of York?
Right well, madam, but I may not suffer you to visit them. The king has strictly charged the contrary.
The king? Who is that?
I mean the Lord Protector.
The Lord protect him from that kingly title. I am their mother. Who shall bar me from them?
I am their father's mother. I will see them.
Their aunt I am in law, in love their mother. Then bring me to their sights. I'll take thy blame and take thy office from thee on my peril.
No, madam, no, I may not have it so. I am bound by oath. Therefore, pardon me.
Let me but meet you, ladies, 1 hour hence. And I'll salute your Grace of York as mother and reverend looker-on of 2 fair queens. Come, madam, you must straight to Westminster, there to be crowned Richard's royal queen.
Oh, cut my lace asunder that my pent heart may have scope to beat, or else I swoon with this dead-killing news.
Despiteful tidings! Oh, unpleasing news!
Be of good cheer. Mother, how fares your grace?
Oh, Dorset, speak not to me. Get thee gone. Death and destruction dogs thee at thy heels. Thy mother's name is ominous to children. If thou wilt outstrip death, go cross the seas and live with rich men from the reach of hell.
Come, madam, come. I in all haste will send.
And I with all unwillingness will go. Oh, would to God that this inclusive verge of golden metal that must round my brow were red-hot steel to sear me to the brains. Anointed, let me be with deadly venom and die ere men can say, God save the queen.
Go, go. I envy not thy glory. To feed my humor, wish thyself no harm.
No? Why? When he that is my husband now came to me, as I followed Henry's course, with scarce the blood was well washed from his hands, which issued from my other angel husband, and that dear saint, which then I weeping followed. When I say I looked on Richard's face, this was my wish. Be thou, quoth I, accursed, for making me so young, so old, a widow. And when thou wentst, let sorrow haunt thy bed and be thy wife. If any be so mad, more miserable by the life of thee than thou hast made me by my dear Lord's death. Oh, ere I can repeat this curse again, within so small time my woman's heart grossly grew captive to his honeyed words. It proved the subject of mine old soul's curse, which hitherto hath held mine eyes from rest. For not yet 1 hour in his bed did I enjoy the golden dew of sleep, but with his timorous dreams was still awaked. Besides, he hates me for my father Warwick, and will no doubt shortly be rid of me.
Oh, poor-hearted you, I pity thy complaining.
No more. Then with my soul I mourn for yours.
Farewell, thou willful welcomer, Lord.
Adieu, poor soul that takes thy leave of it.
Go thou to Richmond, and let good judgment be thy guide. Go thou to Richard, and tender angels bless thee. Go thou to sanctuary, and good thoughts possess thee. I to my grave, where peace and joy lie with me. 80 odd years of sorrow have I seen, and every hour's joy racked with a week of teen.
Stay, yet look back with me into the tower. Oh, pity you ancient stones, those tender babes whom envy hath immured within your walls. Rough cradle for such little pretties. Rude ragged nurse, old sullen playfellow to such tender princes. Use my babies well, so foolish sorrows bids your stones farewell.
Stand all apart. Cousin of Buckingham,
My gracious sovereign,
give me that hand. Thus I, by thy advice and by thy assistance, is King Richard seated. But shall we wear these glories for a day? Or shall they last till we rejoice in them?
long live they and forever let them last.
Ah, Buckingham, now do I play the touch, to try if thee be current gold indeed. Young Edward lives. Think now what I would speak.
Say on, my loving lord.
Say that I would be king.
Why, so you are, my thrice renowned lord.
Am I king? 'Tis so, but Edward lives.
It's true, noble prince.
Oh, fiddle consecrate, of consequence. Young Edward still lives. True, noble prince. Shall I be plain? I want the bastard dead. I would have it subtly performed. Say without ethics. Speak suddenly. Be brief.
Your grace may do your pleasure.
Say that I have their consent and that they will die.
Give me some little breath, my lord, some pause. I will resolve you herein presently.
The king is angry. See, he gnaws his lip.
High-reaching Buckingham grows circumspect. Hath he so long held out with me, untired, that stops he now for breath? Come hither, Catesby. Rumored abroad that Anne, my queen, is sick and like to die. I must be married to my brother's daughter, or else my kingdom stands on brittle glass. Murder her brothers and marry her. Uncertain way of gain. For I am so far in blood that sin will pluck on sin. Tear falling pity dwells not in this eye. Is thy name Tyrrell?
James Tyrrell, and your most obedient subject.
Art thou indeed?
Prove me, gracious lord.
Dost thou resolve to kill a friend of mine?
Please you, but I had rather kill 2 enemies.
Ah, that sings sweetest music. Hark, come hither.
I will dispatch it straight.
My lord, I've considered in my mind that late request you did sound me in.
Let that rest. Dorset is fled to England.
I hear the news, my lord.
And Sally, here's your wife's son. We'll look on to it.
My lord, I claim the gift, my due by promise, the earldom of Hereford, and the movables which you have promised I shall possess.
I remember Henry VI did prophesize that Richmond should be king. A king, perhaps.
My lord,
What is a clock?
I am thus bold to keep your grace in mind of what you promised me.
Well, what is a clock?
Upon the stroke of 10.
Let it strike.
Why let it strike?
Because, like a jack that keepeth a strike betwixt thy begging and my meditation. I'm not in the giving vein today.
Why then resolve me whether you will or no.
Thou troubles me! I'm not in the vein!
And is it thus? Repays me my deep service with such contempt? Made I him king for this?
Kind Tyrrell, am I happy in thy news?
If to have done the thing you gave in charge beget your happiness, be happy then, for it is done.
Did thou see them dead?
I did, my lord.
And buried gentle Tyrrell.
The chaplain of the tower hath buried them.
Come to me, Tyrrell, soon. And after supper, tell me of the process of their death. Farewell till then.
I humbly take my leave.
The sons of Edward sleep in Abraham's bosom. And Anne, my queen, has bid this world good night. For now I know that Britain Richmond aims at young Elizabeth, my brother's daughter. and by that knot looks proudly on the crown. To her I go, a jolly, thriving wooer.
My lord!
Good or bad news that comes in so bluntly?
Bad news, my lord. Ely is fled to Richmond, and Buckingham, back with the hardy Welshman, is in the field, and still his power increaseth.
Go, muster men. My counsel is my shield. We must be brief when traitors brave the field.
So now prosperity begins to mellow and drop into the rotten mouth of death. Here in these confines, slyly have I lurked to watch the waning of mine enemies. A dire induction am I witness to and will to France, hoping the consequences will prove as bitter, black, and tragical. Withdraw thee, wretched martyr. Who comes here?
Oh, my poor princess! Oh, my tender babes! If yet your gentle souls fly in the air, hover about me with your airy wings. Oh,
So many miseries have praised my voice that my woe-wearied tongue is still and mute. Edward Plantagenet, why art thou dead?
Plantagenet doth quick Plantagenet. Edward for Edward pays a dying debt.
wilt thou, O God, fly from such gentle lambs and throw them in the entrails of the wolf?
If ancient sorrows be most reverent, give mine the benefit of seigneury. I had an Edward, till a Richard killed him. I had a husband, till a Richard killed him. Thou hadst an Edward, till a Richard killed him. Thou hadst a Richard, till a Richard killed him.
Oh, Harry's wife, triumph not in my woes.
Oh, bear with me. I hunger for revenge. Richard yet lives, hell's black intelligencer. Cancel his bond of life, dear God, I pray, that I may live and say the dog is dead.
Oh, thou didst prophesy the time would come that I would wish for thee to curse that bottled spider, that foul bunchbacked toad.
I call thee then, vain flourish of my fortune. I call thee then, poor shadow, painted queen. The presentation of but what I was, a queen in jest, only to fill the scene. Where is thy husband now? Where be thy brothers? Where be thy two sons? Wherein dost thou joy? Who stoops and kneels and says, God save the queen? Decline all this and see what now thou art. For happy wife, a most distressed widow. For joyful mother, one who wails the name. For one being sued too, one who humbly sues. For she, being feared of all, now fearing one. For she, commanding all, obeyed of none. Thus hath the course of justice whirled about, and left thee but a very prey to time, having no more but thought of what thou wast. To torture thee the more, being what thou art, thou didst usurp my place, and dost thou not usurp the just proportion of my sorrow? Now thy proud neck bears half my burden yoke, from which even now I slip my wearied head, and leave the burden of it all on thee. Farewell, York's wife, the queen of sad mischance. These English woes shall make me smile in France.
Oh, thou well skilled in curses, stay a while. Teach me how to curse mine enemies.
Forbear to sleep the night and fast the day. Compare dead happiness with living woe. Think that thy babes were sweeter than they were, and he that slew them is fouler than he is. Bettering thy loss makes the bad causer worse. Revolving this will teach thee how to curse.
Oh, my words are dull. Quicken them with thine.
Thy woes will make them sharp and pierce like mine.
Why should calamity be full of words?
Poor breathing orators of miseries, let them have scope, though what they will impart help nothing else, yet do they ease the heart.
If this be so, then be not tongue-tied. Go with me, and together let's smother my damned son that did thy too sweet son smother. The trumpet sounds, be copious with exclaims.
Who intercepts my expedition?
Oh, let me speak.
Do so, but I will not hear.
Oh, art thou so hasty? I have stayed for thee.
You came not I at last to come with thee?
Thou camest upon this earth to make the earth my hell.
You speak too bitterly.
Hear me a word, for I will never speak with thee again.
So,
either thou wilt die by God's just ordinance, or I, with grief and extreme age, perish, never more to see thy face again. Therefore, take with thee my most grievous curse, my prayers on the adverse party fight. Bloody thou, bloody will be thy end. Shame fills thy life, and will thy death attend.
stay, madam. I must talk a word.
I have no more sons of the royal blood for thee to slaughter. For my daughters, Richard, they shall be praying nuns, not weeping queens. Therefore level not to hit their lives.
You have a daughter, Elizabeth, virtuous and fair, royal and gracious.
And must she die for this? Oh, let her live, and I'll slander her, corrupt her manners, slander her beauty, slander myself, as false Edward fed, so she may live unscarred of bleeding slaughter. I will confess she was not Edward's daughter.
Wrong. In her birth, she's a royal princess.
And must she die for this?
Her life is only safest in her blood.
No, only in that safety died her brothers.
Alone at their birth, good stars were opposite.
No, to their lives, ill friends were contrary.
All unavoidable is the doom of destiny.
True, when avoided grace makes destiny.
So thrive, madam, in my enterprise, that I intend more good to you and yours, than ever you and yours by me were harmed.
Oh, be brief, lest the process of thy kindness last longer telling than thy kindness date.
And know that from my soul I love thy daughter. What do you think?
And from thy soul's love thou dost love my daughter, so from thy soul's love didst thou love her brothers.
Do not be so hasty to confound my meaning. I mean that from my soul I love thy daughter, and do intend to make her Queen of England.
Oh, how canst thou woo her?
That I would learn of you.
Send to her by the man that slew her brothers a pair of bleeding hearts, thereon engrave Edward and York, then haply will she weep. Therefore send to her, like sometimes Margaret did, to thy father, steeped in Rutland's blood, a handkerchief, which say to her did drain the purple sap from her sweet brother's body, and bid her wipe her weeping eyes withal. This inducement move her not to love. Send her a letter of thy noble deeds. Tell her thou madest away her uncle Clarence, her uncle Rivers. Aye, and for her sake madest quick conveyance with her good aunt Anne.
You mock me, madam. This is no way to win your daughter.
There is no other way, unless thou couldst put on some other shape and not be you, Richard, that hath done all this.
All that is done cannot be avoided. Men shall deal inadvisedly sometimes. If I did take the kingdom from your sons, To make amends, I'll give it to your daughter.
For what shall I say? Her father's brother would be her lord? Or shall I say her uncle?
Say that I will love her everlastingly.
Ha! But how long shall that title ever last?
As long as heaven or nature lengthens it.
Oh, as long as Helen Richard likes of it.
I swear.
By nothing, for this is no oath. If something thou wouldst swear to be believed, swear then by something that thou hast not wronged.
And by the world.
'Tis full of thy foul wrongs.
My father's death.
Thy life hath it dishonor.
Then the heavens then.
Heaven's wrong most of all. What canst thou swear by now?
The time to come.
That thou hast wronged in the time o'erpast. The children live whose fathers thou hast slaughtered. The parents live whose children thou hast butchered.
Be opposite all planets, and good luck to my proceedings. If for two true dear hearts love, I tender not thy beauteous princely daughter. In her consists my happiness, and thine. Without her follows to myself and thee. Herself, the land, and many a Christian soul. Death, decay, desolation, ruin. It cannot be avoided but by this. It will not be avoided but by this. Therefore, dear mother, if I must call you so, be the attorney of my love to her. Plead what I will be, not what I have been.
Yet thou didst kill my children.
In your daughter's womb, I will bury them. In the nest of spice to you they will be, them of themselves to your recomforture.
I go. Write to me very shortly, and you shall understand from me her mind.
Bid her my true love's kiss. And so farewell. What news?
Most mighty sovereign, on the western coast, a place I may be to our shores. 'Tis thought that Richmond is their admiral.
What news with you?
Richmond is on the seas. He makes for England here to claim the crown.
Is the chair empty? Is the sword unswayed? Is the king dead? Is the empire unprotested? Thou will revolt to him and flee, I fear.
No, my good lord, therefore mistrust me not.
Then tell me what power thou hast to beat him back.
You have no cause to hold my friendship doubtful. I never was, and never will be false.
Go, muster men. But leave behind your son, George Stanley. Let your heart be firm, or else his head's alliances is but frail.
My liege, the Duke of Buckingham is taken. That is the best news. That the Earl of Richmond is with a mighty power landed at Milford.
Take order to have Buckingham to Salisbury. The rest, march on with me.
Sir Christopher, tell Richmond this from me. My son George Stanley is franked up in hold. Fear of that holds off my present aid. So get thee gone, commend me to thy lord. My letter will resolve him of my mind. Farewell.
Will not King Richard let me speak with him?
No, my good lord. Therefore be patient.
This Margaret's curse falls heavy on my neck. When he, quoth she, shall split thy heart with sorrow. Come, officer, lead me to the block of shame. Wrong hath but wrong, and blame the doer blame.
Fellows at arms, and my most loving friends, bruised underneath the yoke of tyranny. The wretched, bloody, and usurping boar swills your warm blood like wash, and makes his trough in your emboweled bosoms. This swine is now even in the century of this isle. In God's name, cheerily on, courageous friends, to reap the harvest of perpetual peace. True hope is swift and flies with swallows' wings. Kings it makes gods, and meaner creatures kings.
Here, pitch your tent. Here, even to Bosworth Field. Who's described the number of the traitors?
About 7,000 or 8,000 is our most utmost number.
Why, our battalion troubles that count. Let's lack no discipline, make no delay. For Lord, tomorrow is a busy day.
The weary sun hath made a golden set. Where's Lord Stanley quartered, do you know?
His regiment lies half a mile at least south from the mighty power of the king.
If without peril it be possible, sweet Blunt, make some good means to speak with him, and give him from me this most needful note.
Upon my life, my lord, I'll undertake it.
Good night, good Captain Blunt. Let us consult upon tomorrow's business.
What is the clock?
It's supper time, my lord. It's 9 o'clock.
I will not sup tonight, Ratcliffe.
My lord?
Send down a pair of arms to Stanley's regime. Let him bid him bring his power before sunrising. Lest his son, George, be blinded by a cave of eternal night. Lord, bid me guard, lead me.
O thou, whose captain I account myself, look on my forces with a gracious eye, and make us thy ministers of chastisement, that we may praise thee in thy victory. To thee I do commend my watchful soul.
Let me sit heavy in thy cell tomorrow. Poor Clarence, by thy guile betrayed to death. Tomorrow in the battle think on me, and fall thy edgeless sword. Despair and die. Thou offspring of the house of Lancaster, the wrong and heirs of York do pray for thee. Good angels guard thy battle. Live and flourish.
Let me sit heavy in thy soul tomorrow. Rivers that died of Pomfret, despair and die.
Think of Gray, and let thy soul despair. Let fall thy lance, despair and die. Awake, and think our wrongs in Richard's bosom will conquer him. Awake, and win the day.
Bloody and guilty, guiltily awake, and in a bloody battle end thy days. Think on Lord Hastings, despair and die. Quiet and troubled soul, awake, awake. Arm, fight, and conquer for fair England's sake.
Dream on thy cousin smothered in the tower. Thy nephew's soul bid thee despair and die. Sleep, Richmond, sleep in peace and wake in joy. Good angels guard thee from the boar's annoy. Live, and beget a happy race of kings. Edward's unhappy sons do bid thee flourish.
Richard, thy wife, that wretched and thy wife, that never spent a quiet hour with thee, tomorrow on the battle think on me, and fall on thy edgeless sword, despair and die. Thou quiet soul, sleep thou a quiet sleep. Dream of success, of victory. Thy adversary's wife doth pray for thee.
The first was I that helped thee to the crown. The last was I that felt thy tyranny. Oh, in the battle think on Buckingham. Dream on of bloody deeds and death. I died for hope, ere I could lend thee aid. But cheer thou heart, and be thou not dismayed. God and good angels fight on Richmond's side, and Richard fall in height of all his pride.
Give me into the horse. Bind up my wounds. Have mercy, Yesu, soft of it, that I did but dream. What? That I should fear myself? There's none else by. Richard loves Richard. That is, I am I. Is there a murderer here? No. Yes, I am. Then fly. What, from myself? Great reason why. Least I revenge myself upon myself? Alack, I love myself. Wherefore? For any good that I myself have done unto myself? No. I rather hate myself. My conscience have 1,000 several tongue, and every tongue brings in a several tale, and every tale condemns me for the villain. All several sins, throng, used to each degree, throng to all the bars, crying all guilty, guilty. I shall despair. No creature loves me, and if I died, no soul will pity me. Wherefore should they? Such that I myself find in myself no pity to myself.
Why then, 'tis time to arm and give direction. More than I have said, loving countrymen, the leisure and enforcement of the time forbids to dwell upon, yet remember this. God and our good cause fight upon our side. Richard, except those whom we fight against had rather have us win than him they follow. Advance your standards, draw your willing swords, sound drums and trumpets boldly and cheerfully. God and St. George, Richmond, and victory!
Who saw the sun today?
Not I, my lord.
The sun not shine? What's that to me?
The Lord, the foe, walks in the field.
Go! Call George Stanley, bid him bring his power. Go, gentlemen, every man to his charge. Let not our babbling dreams affright our souls, for conscience is the word that cowards use, devised the first to keep us strong in awe. Our strong arms are conscience, our sword, our law. March on, join in, let us two pell-mell, if not to heaven, then hand in hand to hell. I hear the drums. Go, fight, gentlemen of England. Fight, bold yeomen. Draw archers, draw your arrows to their heads. Spur your proud horses hard and ride in blood.
Oh, rescue! My lord of Norfolk! Rescue! Rescue! Oh, the king enacts more wonders than a man. His horse is slain and all on foot he fights. Rescue, my lord, or else the day is lost.
A horse! A horse! My kingdom for a horse!
Withdraw, my lord. I'll help you to a horse.
Slave! I will not sell my life upon a cast, and I will not send the habit of the die. A horse! A horse! My kingdom for a horse!
No. No. friends. The day is ours, the bloody dog is dead.
Courageous Richmond, well hast thou quit me. Lo, here these long usurped royalties from the dead temples of this bloody wretch have I plucked off to grace thy brows withal. Wear it and make much of it.
God in heaven, say amen to all. Oh, but tell me, is young George Stanley living?
He is my lord safe in Gloucester town, whither, if you please, we may withdraw us.
Proclaim a pardon to the soldiers fled, that in submission shall return to us. And then, as we have ta'en the sacrament, we will unite the white rose and the red. England has long been mad and scarred herself. The brother blindly shed the brother's blood. The father rashly slaughtered his own son. The son compelled, been butchered to the sire. All this divided York and Lancaster, divided in their dire division. Oh, now, let Richmond and Elizabeth, the true succeeders of each royal house, in God's fair ordinance conjoin together. And let thy heirs, God, if thy will be so, enrich the time to come with smooth-faced peace, with smiling plenty and fair prosperous days. Now civil wounds have stopped. Peace lives again. That she may long live here, God say amen.